Hi everybody, welcome back to the Compass Firearms Studios. My name is Zach, and today we're going to go back into our time. Very far, actually 165 to 180 years ago. I'd like to present to you the U.S. model 1841. This one in particular made by Eli Remington, or what we would now know as the Remington Arms Company. In its case, is one of 10,000 rifles. Now in our research, we found that this was either one of 70,000, and the Smithsonian Institute confirmed that number, or it could be anywhere up to 92,000. Not sure which number I'd like to use, but for now I'm going to stick with the one of 10,000. That's the most consistent number that we found. Remington made 10,000 of these over a 5-year period, and we're gonna jump right into that. All right, so Mr. Remington in the 1840s got into making firearms by acquiring military contracts from other manufacturers. This one in particular, John Griffiths of Cincinnati, Ohio, originally acquired this contract from the Ordnance Department because the Ordnance Department wanted to have a Western manufacturer that wouldn't be so expensive to ship to the St. Louis arsenal. Instead of shipping it all the way across from most of the New England manufacturers to get it all the way across what was our country at the time. So when Mr. Griffiths acquired this contract in 1842, in summer of 1845, John Griffiths had not made any of these firearms and was likely not going to, so he tried to get rid of his contract with the Ordnance Department. Step in Mr. Remington. He said that he would build these rifles for the Ordnance Department, but instead of at a $13 per unit price, he was only going to charge them $12. And in addition to that, he was going to make his rifles with all steel barrels instead of the cast iron that everybody else at Harper's Ferry, that Eli Whitney had currently been making said rifles. The Ordnance Department said, no, we'll still give you our $13, but we do want that all cast steel barrel. At which point, everybody after this point who was manufacturing these rifles had to convert all of their rifles to these cast steel barrels as well. So Mr. Remington signed his contract in September of 1845, and it would be almost 5 years before he would deliver any rifles to the Ordnance Department. He was finishing a Jenks contract that he had acquired earlier, and somebody might argue that he was also looking for the tools, saying that he was buying manufacturing equipment from the Ames Company so that he actually had the ability to make these rifles. So in 1850, he started delivering on his first contract, and that would take 3 years to do so, 1850, 51, and 52. And in the middle of that, in 1851, he acquired another contract from the Ordnance Department for a second batch of 5,000 rifles that he would first deliver on late 1852, finished through 1853 and 54. So that's a story of how we got to where we are, right? So now let's talk about this rifle. Originally bored in a 54 caliber, this muzzleloader came with a brass ramrod and had said front sling right here. In 1855, however, most of these rifles that were in possession by the Ordnance Department or the various stationed outposts began reboring this to a 58 caliber. When they did so, they replaced the brass ramrod with a steel ramrod, and more than likely this front sling was replaced with a bayonet lug. Various manufacturers and even some of the arsenals across the country had different variations of what they would do to it, right? Some were rebored, left the front sling, some were not rebored but put a bayonet lug on it. This one in particular is still in its original 54 caliber, confirmed, and why not do it more than once just to figure it out, but I had to know. So this firearm has not been modified in any way from its original version, except for the fact that it has a steel ramrod instead of a brass ramrod. If guns could talk, man, I can't prove why, I don't know how, I don't really care, but 180 years ago, this was made, and here it is now for everyone to enjoy. So if there's somebody out there that can explain how this never got altered in any way, because most of those 54s were modified, right? We say most. Is it most of 92,000, most of 70,000? And what does most mean for 180 years ago? When you get right down to it though, this should probably be stuck behind a glass box, hanging on a wall. I'm choosing to believe that this has been in possession of a family for 160 years and handed down generation to generation. And here it is, an opportunity for every one of you to have a crack at it. Come take a look at it, check it out anytime. Drop a comment below if you got an answer as to how this didn't get altered in any way, why this could have a steel ramrod instead of its original brass ramrod. I'll choose to believe that this rifle literally rewrote our history, hopefully not very far from where I'm standing in Chattanooga. So good luck, enjoy it. I can't wait to present it to you all. I hope you like it as much as we do.